What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Behind the Cards. And today I have a special guest. It's none other than Adam, the 3 for 3 Splendid Sports. What's up, Adam?
How you doing, Theo? Appreciate you having me on.
I'm good, man. Good. We're doing a little home and home here. I was on your channel for 3 and 3, and I got you to come on here, so I appreciate it, man. Um, so normally I don't really talk about things that are going on like in sports because I want these to be evergreen. But I figured I want to put you on the spot because I think I'm going to release this video on Memorial Day. So I want to put you on the spot. Are the Celtics going to beat the Heat? If they do beat the Heat, are they going to win the championship? So why don't you give us your prediction?
Oh, man. Yeah, I'm going to say they're going to run the table and become the first team in history to come back from 3-0. And then, oh, man, the finals. I love Jokic. So I was going to be rooting hard for Denver if Miami made the finals, which they might, and they probably will. But I'm going to say the Celtics win the title this year.
Wow. You heard it here.
Hey, I'm a homer, man. I'm a homer.
If somebody watches this and the Celtics are out, please leave a comment that Adam was wrong, please.
I'm going to get killed.
Good. I like it. All right. So you were recently on an esteemed panel on Sports Card Therapist channel. I think it was a couple days ago. You guys did a great job. A lot of heavy hitters on there. I just kind of feel bad. You kind of took a big step down coming onto my channel, so I apologize, man.
Yeah, I'm just happy you invited me on. Yeah, that Rob's been having. I don't know how I told him. I said, man, I don't know how you do all this stuff. Like he is, and he's got a full-time job too. So I was just like, don't burn yourself out, man.
Yeah, seriously. How much you're on? I get criticized. I get criticized by Lou Rock that I'm on way too much stuff, but you're on a lot of stuff. How much time do you feel like you spend either thinking of YouTube ideas, being on YouTube channels, collecting cards, and watching sports? How many hours a day do you feel like?
Man, I probably make less like solo videos than most channels as far as that goes, and I go in waves. Like I might go like this week I've been on 3 different other people's channels, and then I might go like a few weeks without doing that. So I'm kind of sporadic with that. I'm not very consistent. But yeah, I used to watch, you could just ask my wife. I used to watch way too much sports. Like, man, I would watch way too many games. I was totally invested in watching sports. And now I don't even watch much sports at all. It might change, but yeah, I don't watch much sports anymore. Most of the stuff I watch now is like I watch other people's YouTube channels or listen to podcasts. So it's definitely changed here in the last couple of years.
Okay. So I thought, I saw they had the 4 screen going on, multi people, and I actually thought, I think you're similar to me, but I'd like to hear, how do you rank making a solo video, doing a one-on-one like we're doing, and having more than 2 people on? How do you rank those as far as your enjoyment goes? What you prefer, I guess.
So if I'm the one scheduling the multi-person video, then that's the hardest because you got to work around schedules and everything. But it's just as far as appearing on, I probably would say this would be number 1, just kind of one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
Number 2 would be a larger group, and then I do like solo videos, but it's a distant third for me. I'd much rather be talking with somebody.
Yeah, that's how I would rank them too. That's how I thought you would say, especially since you branched off and done the series with Dylan. So I was thinking you were going to say that, but one thing about that Sports Card Therapist live that you guys did, the Sports Card Therapist, he started talking about forever cards, and it really struck me because I've heard other collectors talk about it, and he mentioned how I believe he mentioned how he sold a Mickey Mantle card. Was a Bowman Mickey Mantle card, I believe. And he said it wasn't his forever card. He wants a better grade in the future, so he sold it. And everybody can collect their own way. But like it kind of stuck with me because I don't collect like that. I like the Clemente rookie card. I have a 1.5. I never plan on buying another one or upgrading it, or that's like some people use the word placeholder. Like I never like I just don't understand that concept. What's your opinion on it? Do you have cards that are placeholders in your collection? Do you kind of agree with that concept of eventually upgrading some of your cards?
I think he might be talking about. I know he sold like 251 mantles so far, and I think the reason on both is they weren't like the eye appeal he was looking for. So not
Right,
even really grade, but like
right,
the one he just sold was like severely off centered. So I
yeah,
think that's probably what he was talking about. But to your point, it depends on the card because like I have some cards that I like Mickey Mantle playing days cards that I bought, maybe 10 or 5 years ago and got them for a good deal compared to what they are at now. And I'm not going to try to upgrade those. They're not like maybe the eye appeal I'd go for if I was buying them now. But because
right.
I got them so long ago, those are like you said, I'm just going with those. I'm not looking to upgrade because I collect other things too, other than, just like one player. So there's a lot of things I got my eye on. So like, yeah, with Mickey Mantle, especially, I've never sold a Mickey Mantle playing days card, and I don't anticipate doing that until maybe if there's ever a day where I sell off my large part of my collection or something like that down the road. But yeah, I'm not a big upgrader, and I'm not a doubles guy either. So like once I have a copy of a
Yeah.
card I want, that's generally what I'm going. I'm going in the long run with that one.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Whenever I have a double, I tend to give it away to somebody. So like I said, everybody can collect their own way, and I'm not by no means am I criticizing the way he collects, and I hope nobody takes it that way. It's like when other people collect different ways, like I'm always intrigued to hear other people's opinions on it because I just kind of in my own lane and kind of think my own way. So I was curious your opinion, but so let's get into you a little bit. So I know you live on the West Coast right now. So what? And I know you like Boston teams, but I really don't know much about your background. So like when what was your childhood like? Where did you live at and things like that?
So yeah, I grew up in the Northeast. Grew up in. I moved around a little bit, but mostly in Massachusetts. So that was, I grew up there, and that's why I'm a fan of the Celtics and the Patriots, the Red Sox. Not as much anymore with like the Red Sox. I mostly root for players now in baseball. I don't really care about the Red Sox anymore. But I
Okay,
did at one point in my life. I was like obsessed with the Red Sox. But as time goes by, I think especially when you move out of the area. I don't root for any of the Arizona teams. That's where I live now. I moved here about 10 years ago. But there's a good chance that I move back to Massachusetts in the near future. So
nice.
I might end up being back where I started.
So I think I remember from you had the strong arm outfielder VR, and you mentioned how you had a strong arm in baseball. Is baseball the only sport you played growing up, or did you play other sports?
No, I played baseball, basketball, and it was funny. My high school didn't have a varsity football team. When I was there, I might have tried to play football too, but we played like flag football. But right when I graduated, they got a varsity football team. So baseball, basketball, and golf. I wish I played golf in high school, but I played baseball and it was the same season, so you had to choose. So I chose baseball. But looking back, I would have loved to play golf in high school too.
Yeah, I kind of wish I would have too. Now that it's been a lot of work to try to learn the sport as an adult, but
Yeah.
I agree 100%. So when did around what time period did you start collecting sports cards?
So it was about, I would say like 1987, right around there. And then I went to about 94 and yeah, then basically kept all my cards. So I had them all that time, but then really didn't start buying cards again until probably like 2010, 2011. And,
Oh,
I was buying some players of the day that I was following. But once I got a little more money, then that's when I started going into vintage, probably right around like 2011, 2012.
wow, that's really cool. What I guess what was the in 2011 2012 what sparked you into vintage where you either saw somebody else collecting or what was it that kind of made you go down that lane, I guess?
I think it was always in my head. I don't honestly remember like what prompted me to go and say, all right, I'm going to go buy the first Mickey Mantle card off of eBay, because that's where I bought all my cards online. I've never bought in person. We could talk about that further, but I've always been an online buyer as an adult. And honestly, I can't remember exactly like what led me to do it. It's always been in my head though that someday I wanted to go back and buy those cards. And me and my dad, we would always even around that time period, still now we talk sports and we talk about sports history. And just those conversations, then I'd go home and be like, man, I could probably afford this, 56 Mantle now. So let's take a look. And so that would kind of prompt me, just those conversations with my dad.
Nice. If you lived in the Boston area, could you give me a Boston accent?
The Celtics are going to win game 6, game 7, and it's going to be a wicked pisser. That's not a good one, but I don't have it. I don't have the accent. My parents do, but I never got it.
I love how they say coffee. Is that how it is, coffee?
Coffee talk is like, that's more like New Jersey. Coffee.
Okay.
Boston's like coffee, like offie. It's kind of like a Canadian, almost like a Canadian accent on that.
Okay. All right. I think it'd be funny if you shot a video one day and you did a Boston accent the whole time. That'd be cool.
Yeah, and I should do it with my dad too. I should bring my dad on somehow, and he's got a real thick Boston accent. So
I'd love that. That'd be awesome. So you started in YouTube like about a year ago, I want to say, but it was kind of like, as far as your first couple videos were all just literal podcasts. Is that correct? Like you first started by making podcasts?
Yeah, I was looking at it the other day. Actually, I think I'm almost at 2 years as far as like the first video I uploaded. I think May 2021 was my first YouTube video that I put on there. But to your point, I would do like a podcast audio, and then I would upload just the audio to YouTube for a little while. And then I think it might have been like July or something of 2021, maybe, when I did like an actual on camera video. So I think I'm approaching 2 years technically of doing like YouTube, having a YouTube channel basically.
Nice. So what was the driving force where obviously you started with podcasts? So what was your thought process when you started the podcast route in the channel? Why did you want to get into that space?
Yeah, I discovered at like the beginning of 2021, like January 2021, that's when I actually realized there were podcasts and YouTube channels about sports cards. So I had been consuming them for like a few months, like heavily, because I was like, wow, this is great. Like Golden Age of Cardboard, Dr. Beckett's podcast, John Newman, Sports Card Nation. So then I was listening to those. And, when you listen to people talk, especially someone like me who I'd never had that outlet to talk about cards or sports history really with anybody in the hobby. So I just kind of had this desire I want to talk to people. So I figured, with my job, we do internet marketing. So some of our clients had requested that like we set them up on podcasts or YouTube channels in the past. So I was familiar with how that whole thing went. And I figured, let me just start one. And I just started interviewing some people. I had Ryan Nolan on Breakout Cards. Some of the people in the industry, like the CEO of MySlabs, Ken Rogers, Jesse Craig from PWCC, like early on. And then there was some hobby people that I connected with on Twitter. So just some early ones where I was just happy to, interview and talk to people. And then that morphed into, I had then found out that, wow, there's actually like collector channels on YouTube, like John Mangini and Blue Jacket 66, all these guys. I just discovered them like around that time. And I said, I want to get on here too and show some cards, talk about cards. So that's kind of where it went.
Oh, that's really cool. When you're in the podcast space, do they tell you how many like listens you get and things like that, or is it like YouTube, or you really don't know?
Yeah, they do. They show you how many view or how many listens you get. But it's hard. At least me, I don't dig into it too much. I don't see like a breakdown of. I don't know if that's just on like Spotify or Apple too. Like I honestly, I don't know too much about that. I don't really. I just monetized my YouTube channel. I turned on the ads like a couple weeks ago, and I think I was eligible to do it for like a while. So
wow,
I haven't really dug into a lot of that stuff. To this point.
Yeah, I was just curious. Like, I was going to talk about 3 for 3s, but you put your 3 for 3s on there now, and do you get or you're not sure, do you get more listens on podcasts or do you get more listens on YouTube with something like that, like in general?
It will vary, but like it's pretty close. Like I might get
Wow.
like if I get 500 views on YouTube, I'll get close to that sometimes on podcasts now too. Just recently, I'm not sure why, but like just in the last couple months, I'm seeing the podcast listens go up pretty heavily. It was always like YouTube was way more than the podcast, and now it's kind of neck and neck. I don't know why, no clue.
Huh, that's pretty cool. I'm like you though. I actually started listening to podcasts way before YouTube. I even knew it existed. I think me and you both are big fans of the Bill Simmons podcast. And I was listening to him when he was on ESPN and way back when, and I just love that show, and I still try to keep up with it as much as I can. But it's kind of hard with YouTube now to keep up with the the podcasts I used to listen to. So
it's funny if you were to I used to listen to Bill Simmons religiously and never miss an episode of his podcast. And now like I'll be here and there because I got to spend my time on like your channel and Dylan's channel and John Mangini. So like I just prefer based on my interest now. He talks more about sports, obviously. So I'm just more interested in hearing stuff about cards and sports rather than just like NBA talk right now.
Yeah. No, I agree. So you started up your biggest franchise, I would say 3-3. What sparked it? How'd you come up with the idea?
It was just random. This was like right at the beginning of when I connected with Dylan, Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, and I was like, "Hey, I want you to, come on my channel. Let's just talk." And I was like, let me think of something we can have some sort of theme around it. And I was just like, all right, let's just show 3 of your favorite cards, and we'll talk about 3 cards you want. And he was like, sure, because he'll do anything, man. He just goes with the flow. So he was like, yeah, let's do it. So we jumped on, did it, and I was like, hey, that was pretty cool. So I just kept doing them, So I'm at like 26 or something like that now. So yeah, it's fun. I might mix it up a little. I might change a little bit of the format here and there, I'm thinking, but generally speaking, I'll probably keep it pretty close to what it is now.
Yeah, you and Dylan have such a great chemistry. I always love to see anytime you guys do the Turn Back the Clock. That's your new series you guys started. I think you're at like episode 7 or so, maybe a little bit more. But so are you how close are you and Dylan? Off of YouTube, like, are you guys talking daily, a couple times a week? Like, how often you guys talk? I guess
we don't talk as much. We text back and forth, maybe not daily, but like probably weekly. We're texting about pickups and all, or whatever, whatever it might be, or just like a topic for the next show we're gonna do. So I'm not a big like texter overall generally. So like I'm not a huge text messaging guy. I'd rather have a phone conversation, but time constraints. When you get on the phone with someone, next thing you know, it's an hour when you're talking cards. So
yeah.
Can't do it. But we're definitely looking forward to meeting him in person at the National here coming up. So that would be fun.
Yeah, I know what you mean though too. Is me and John kind of have that collaboration together with our live stream we've been doing, Goonies in the Outfield, and sometimes you want to save stuff to talk through it on YouTube. You know what I mean? I like to like I didn't want to reach out to you prior to this because I like it to be genuine, authentic, and fresh. I don't want somebody. I don't want to, I already know what Adam's going to say here. So it's not real reactions in my opinion. So I kind of get where you're coming from with the texting, because that's how me and John are. So what does your family think about you being on YouTube?
Well, honestly, other than my wife, no one even knows. I haven't told anyone. Not that, I mean, if they ever like found it or whatever, that's fine. Like I don't, it's cool, but like most of my friends and family, number one, probably wouldn't care. But number two, I like to keep the world separate for some reason at this point. I don't want my mom watching my videos at this point. You know what I mean? So
I think obviously I don't know much about your dad other than what you said earlier, but I think your dad would probably be really interested in watching. But I don't know. Maybe
my wife's like, you should, I want to get my dad on one of these, but he wouldn't even like understand too much like what I'm doing. So I'm just going to like record him and then I'll put it in a video or whatever. But yeah. He's very low-fi, low tech. Same with my mom's never used a cell phone. She doesn't text message. She doesn't do email. She's never been on Facebook, no internet, nothing. She's like old school. She's like if it was 1980, basically.
Yeah, that's my mom's not like that, but my dad is. We bought him like a cell phone for Christmas, like one of those ones you add minutes to, and it's 3 years it's been in a package, so he won't use it, he won't take it. So yeah, if you have to get a hold of him, you have to find what house he's at and call the landline.
Right.
So, it's crazy.
Yep.
It's insane. That's awesome, man. So I gave you, as I do in all my Behind the Cards episodes, and I didn't give a plug earlier. If this is your first time seeing a Behind the Cards, I think this is my 14th episode. I made a playlist up. If you like this, check out some other Behind the Cards episodes. I got some great YouTube channels on there. But as I always do, I give my guests a couple pre-questions where they can prepare cards for them. And the first question was, your favorite player to collect is Mickey Mantle, and as you kind of said, it was your dad's favorite player. So what Mantle cards do you have that might have been Mantle cards that your dad also collected?
Yeah. So I told this story in the past, but on my channel, and basically, when I was a kid, I was lucky because both of my parents, well, great parents, but from a sports perspective, they were huge and still are huge sports fans. And so they would just tell me stories about, sports from their day. My mom is actually an even bigger like Celtics fan than my dad. Like he doesn't watch every game anymore. My mom still watches every Celtics game and just about every Red Sox game. So she's huge fan, huge sports fan. And but my dad, he knew a lot, obviously, about the vintage guys like Mickey Mantle and Stan Musial, Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, all these guys that when I was a kid, I would just like throw out a name and he would go into a story about the guy, basically like a 1 minute, like, all right, let me tell you about this guy. And, just kind of more from there. So that helped me develop the love of that time period, those players, even though I never saw him play. But one of the things he always would tell me is he had Mickey Mantle cards when he was a kid. And similar to a lot of guys his age, his mom got rid of them, gave them away or threw them out. But she would always say, when we would go up there, she would say, like, I don't remember throwing them out. I think she just felt that. But she would say, like, they might be in the attic. So we would always, every time we'd go up to her house, we would go up in the attic. And me specifically, my dad would be like, yeah, go up there, see if you can find them. So basically, I would dig through the attic, and we never found him. But he would always say, I had I said, well, what cards did you have? And he would say, I know I had the one where he was in a TV screen. So that's the 55 Bowman.
Nice. Can you hold it a little bit closer?
Yep.
Nice. That's a beautiful copy.
Thanks. Yeah, I got this one a while back. Again, because that connection where I knew my dad obviously had this card, so I figured I definitely want to get that one early on. And then he would always say also the one, I know he had the one where he was diving over the fence trying to make a catch with being the 56 tops there.
Classic.
Yeah. So I got these a while back. These were two of the first ones I got when I first had the money and the ability to get these cards. But it was another kind of interesting wrinkle to that story would be, I have a great memory of like one of the first times we were looking in the attic, and I was kind of like deflated because I really thought I was going to find those Mickey Mantles up in the attic in like a shoebox or whatever. But I would come down and I was just deflated, right? So I remember specifically he was like, all right, well, let's go walk down to the store. There was like a little like liquor store down the street or whatever, convenience store. We would go in, they sold packs of cards. And I walked in and I remember seeing it was 1988 Pacific Legends, right? And there was a picture of this card right on the box. This was the 1988 Mantle, not this exact one, but he was like the poster card on the box of cards. So I remember my dad would take me and I'd basically buy a pack of those cards. And it had all the legends, So in a way, it was like I was pulling Mickey Mantle, or I don't even think I ever got a Mantle though. But I would get like Stan Musial, Ted Williams, all these legends that he had been telling me about. And I didn't really know the big differentiator between like, oh, this is 1988 versus 1958 or whatever. So it still felt awesome. So I just remember such a happy memory. Open those packs, and then I would, that had become now one of my favorite sets of all time, just because of the photos and the memories. And I went and got this card fairly recently, autographed copy of the Mantle in that set.
Wow.
And Pino Man just had a video where he was opening a pack of these cards too, which funny enough.
Wow, he didn't find a Mantle, did he?
No, the Mantles aren't as easy as you think, man. They short printed those babies in '88.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So he had Mantle cards. He was a Mantle fan. Was it kind of like MJ to us, like where he was actually a Boston fan, but just Mantle was so far above, or was he a Yankees fan? And which one was it? Like as far as
so it's funny because they grew up in Brockton, Massachusetts, so that's Red Sox country, but his dad took him when he was a young kid, took him to Yankee Stadium because I guess his dad's, his uncle, dad's brother, lived in New Jersey and they were big Yankees fans. So they kind of went there on a family outing and he took him to Yankee Stadium and he went down on the field and he saw Mickey Mantle up close and all the other Yankees. This was probably like, either late 50s or early 60s, maybe something like that, probably late 50s. So that, I guess, developed the love combined with like at the time, baseball was on TV just recently and the Yankees were the thing, they were in the World Series every year. So I just think, even for someone living in Massachusetts, they still wanted Mickey Mantle cards, and they still love Mickey Mantle was the guy back then because the Red Sox never won anything. You know what I mean? So
that's a cool story. I recently had a conversation with my dad and he told me about the couple of times a year he would get to go to Forbes Field with his father. And they would only go when they played the Giants because his dad really wanted to see Willie Mays and Roberto at the same time. So I said, that's so cool. Like back in the day, seeing those great players.
Imagine being able to go back in time, just go to like a Brooklyn Dodgers game in the 50s or something. That would be incredible to do, man.
I know. His father also really liked Willie McCovey. So like they would sit at the first baseline so they could see Willie McCovey, Clemente, and Mays all right there in front of you. That was the days where people would sit where their players were at on defense. Like now it's like if you're not behind home plate watching the hitters hit, it's like it's a bad seat. You know what I'm saying? And those were the days where a right field seat in Forbes Field was more valuable than sitting right behind the batter's box.
Yep.
It's crazy how things have changed. You know what I
mean?
I know. So another story or another question I had for you to teed up was your favorite autograph or autograph story.
Yeah. So this is going a little outside of our normal stuff here, but I was a huge Hulk Hogan fan, Hulkamaniac. How old are you exactly?
I'm 36.
Okay, well, so you're about 5 years younger than me.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a big fan of like wrestling when like The Rock came around or Stone Cold Steve Austin. I was kind of past it at that point. But my heyday was WWF, Hulk Hogan, Hulkamania, like late 80s type thing. Honestly, if you would have asked me back then when I was like 7 or 8 or whatever, who my favorite athlete is or person or celebrity or whatever you want to call them, it would be far and away. It wasn't Wade Boggs or Roger Clemens or any of these Red Sox players or even Larry Bird. It would be Hulk Hogan. I was obsessed with Hulk Hogan and WWF. And it was like probably 1987 or 1988 summer. My birthday was coming up. And I remember my parents like surprised me and they said, we're going to go meet Hulk Hogan. And I was like, just shocked. What? So basically I looked this up because like I had the memory, but I wanted to like kind of remember exactly what it was. And it was this place in Somerville, Massachusetts called World's Gym. And during the peak of Hulkamania, Hulk Hogan would come there. I think he came there for at least like 3 straight summers. And he would go there and basically do like a meet and greet autograph type thing. But you cannot, I'm telling you, you can't, unless you like were there, you cannot understand how big of a thing Hulkamania was back then for kids, even adults, and not just kids. So to the point of the story, so we drive in, my parents, we live down on Cape Cod. So it's like, rural area, kind of laid back. And we're going into basically the Boston area, which was like a big deal for us, right, back then. So we drive in and, my parents, they're taking me and my sister to meet the Hulk. And we don't really know what to expect, because this is before the internet and all this stuff. There's not much information other than he's going to be at this gym. And so we're going to go. So we drive in, and it was hot. It was like mid upper 90s and like humid day. So we're driving in. My parents get lost, so we're driving in this like close to Boston. My parents can't figure out how to get there to the gym, and this is so out of character. This is why the story's so funny to me, knowing my mom, is because like she would, knowing her, like I can't believe she ever did this, but we were so lost and so desperate to find this place that she got a hitchhiker on the side of the road. We pulled over, and he had like a Hulkamania shirt on. So she was like, "Are you going to meet Hulk Hogan?" He's like, "Yeah." And then she's like, "Get in, get in the car." So basically, get this hitchhiker, and he comes in, he sits in the back with me and my sister, and he's like, "Hey, Hulkamaniacs," he's all fired up. Anyway, he tells us how to get there. So we get to the thing, and we were shocked. This place, man, there was a 3-hour plus line to just get in the gym in 95-degree heat. So anyway, I appreciate what my dad did here. He basically told me, my sister, and my mom, there was a movie theater across the street, and he said, go see a movie for an hour or two, and come back. I'll still be in line. Come back in. So we went, saw like a Disney movie, and my dad waited in line for like 2 hours, and we went back in line, and we were getting nervous because they were saying like pretty soon we're going to stop letting people in. So there was the thought, oh man, we're not going to get to meet the Hulk. We ended up being the last group that they let in. So we go in the gym. I met the Hulk. I got his autograph right here. I still have it. I found it at my parents' house. And this is the original picture that he signed for me. I shook his hand, and he was like, "Hey, little Hulkamaniac, you taking your vitamins?" Doing the whole act on me and everything. So it was just a great memory. Just honestly, at my age now, I look back and I just appreciate what my parents did there. Just a great thing they did, taking me in, and also my dad waiting in 95 plus degree humid heat, standing there waiting. I'm sure he had better things to do that day, but he took one for the team. And those are the things, now I have younger kids. I start to think about that, like, they're going to remember a lot of these things. And I remember that's a great memory I have of my parents there.
Let me tell you something, brother. So I went to my childhood cards over or down here in my card room, and I pulled out the classic WrestleMania cards from 1990. I don't know if you ever collected these, but here's Hulk with Macho Man and Miss Elizabeth.
Oh man, that's a great one. It was so big, man. The late 80s, it was like the biggest. We would go to the bus stop, the kids, right, waiting for the bus. We weren't talking about baseball or basketball. We were talking about, did you see SummerSlam last night? That was the thing, man, for a little while.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I kept watching after you, and Hulk went to WCW, and I had an NWO shirt. I used to wear my NWO shirt. And then he was in the NWO Wolfpack. It was a great time of wrestling when I was a kid. But
Theo, for the national on one of the days, can you dress up as NWO Hogan? Get the pin on the beard. That would be fantastic, man. And start signing autographs.
I don't think people will want my autograph, but I could probably wear the shirt and the headband for sure.
All right. I like it.
That's awesome, man. That's a great story. So the next question was, tell me about a time you met an athlete. So you could have hit the Hulk Hogan story twice, but did you have another story?
Yeah, so it's a kind of similar story. This one's gonna be a lot shorter, but I haven't met that many athletes. But one of the places where I used to meet a bunch of them every summer down on the Cape, there would be a celebrity golf tournament, like a pro-am type golf tournament. And my dad took me a few years, to the tournament, and they'd have all like current players of the day. Roger Clemens would be there, and there were a lot of like professional golfers, but also like professional athletes. Like Bobby Orr would be there. Bobby Orr was a great guy. I remember me and my dad met him. But the best one of all that we ever met was John Havlicek, Celtics legend John Havlicek. Me and my dad were out on like a distant part of the course, and we were like the only ones on this tee box, and there was a group coming. We didn't know who was coming up. Next thing you know, John Havlicek's walking up to the tee box, and my dad, I just remember being like, my dad's like, "Whoa, it's Havlicek," and he basically asked him, "Would you mind taking a picture with my son?" And he was the nicest guy. I don't remember all the conversation, but I just remember thinking like, this is incredible how nice of a guy Havlicek is. And he wasn't like short or like had better place to be. He was just awesome to meet, and I still have the picture. So here's
let me get you solo here. Go ahead.
Here's little me. I got my USA Dream Team. So I'm thinking this was like 1992 or 90, right around there. And that's me and John Havlicek.
Wow.
Yep.
That's cool.
So, you like that jacket? Look at that baby.
I do. I would wear that today.
Windbreaker. But yeah, he was a great guy. So those are the memories that, like, when you meet an athlete and they're even like nicer than you would have even hoped, that never leaves. So that's a great memory I have there.
I don't know if you saw Wade Boggs' interview yet. Wade Boggs fan interview with Wade Boggs. Man, is he a nice guy? I already kind of knew it from, but geez, that was crazy.
That was my biggest takeaway. Also, along with that, John did such an awesome job interviewing, because you have to be nervous. I know I would be nervous. You know,
I would have been shaking.
And he was so smooth, man. Like, he is just a cool customer, and he did such a great job. Wade Boggs was just a great guy on that. So yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
Yeah, I love the fact that he asked hobby related questions a lot. I thought that was cool, like a nice spin on it, because I mean, he could have asked like just sports related questions and got similar answers probably in other interviews, but I thought that was so cool.
And I think Wade Boggs probably would rather do that too, because he's probably had a million people ask him, like, you know, all the sports personal questions stuff, but like, maybe he doesn't get to talk about sports cars and memorabilia as much. And that was probably more enjoyable for Boggs too.
Yeah, for sure. So at the end of my show, I always have 10 questions in a minute. I know you were a little bit worried about this.
Yeah, I'm worried about this part, man. We'll see how I do on these.
I think we're like 5. I have 5. Like, I believe it's 5 in a row episodes where everybody's done it in time. So this is going to be embarrassing. Yeah, we're on a big streak here.
I used to have a really like quick, good memory, but ever since I got a 2 and a 4-year-old now, like, my remembering of facts and like being able to be quick-witted and stuff is just like out the window. It's unbelievable.
All right, well,
but
I try not to be too complex on these questions, so hopefully you can do it. I'll start the timer at the end of the first question. Okay.
All right.
Rank these teams from favorite to watch to least favorite to watch. Bruins, Celtics, Patriots, Sox.
Patriots, Celtics, Red Sox, Bruins.
Best Sam Adams beer.
Oktoberfest.
Bigger cheater, Brady or Belichick?
Belichick.
All right. Best tourist attraction in Boston.
The Seaport area.
Who would you rather meet, Brady or Bird?
Bird.
Best movie that was filmed in Boston or has a Boston theme.
I'm going to go with The Town.
The best 1960s top set.
1960.
Is New England clam chowder overrated or properly rated?
Properly rated.
Best pizza topping.
Green peppers.
Favorite guest on 3 and 3 ever.
Theo, Clemente Collector.
Oh,
Obviously.
You did it, dude. You did it. Woo. Wow. I was worried there for a second. I was worried.
Let's do another 10. Come on. I'm on a roll, baby. Let's go.
Oh, man.
I'm definitely going to regret my movie pick there. But I was jumbled up in my head there. But in the comments, I'm going to think about that further, and I'm going to put my The Town was good, but I know there's a better movie that I'm not thinking of right now.
Yeah, I think The Town's my favorite. But I also liked, man, there's so many good ones. It's crazy. The 90s were filled with Boston movies. It's kind of crazy. That's pretty cool. So me and you were talking about maybe possibly here in the future, maybe doing a fantasy football show. So hopefully we can get that squared away. I think that would be a fun thing to do.
Yeah. Anybody who's interested, guys, on YouTube, if you're into football, into fantasy football, let us know in the comments, because I think that would be cool to get like a fantasy football show or even a league together, or both. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be fun. Definitely need to do the league for sure. We can find 10 guys, and I'd love to be the commish, or if Adam wants to be the commish, either way, that'd be fun. Give each other a hard time.
Great commissioner.
You could be the assistant to the commission.
To the assistant manager or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, like Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh, so Adam, I obviously I love your show. I love your personality. I just the first time I saw it, I said, this guy's like a professional. Like he's like an ESPN analysis, like back in the '90s, like this professional. Like you just your channel's professional. That's all I could say about it. And I think it's great. And I can't believe that you don't have like 10,000 subs by now with how great it is. But thank you for coming on, man.
Hey, I appreciate you saying that. And none of it's true, but I appreciate you saying that. I'm going to clip that part though and show it to my wife. At least
Okay. Yeah. Show it to her. Maybe you'll get some cred. But yeah, I hope we do some more stuff in the future. I know you signed a contract with Dylan. You're only allowed to do non-baseball card related items with other people. So we'll stick to that. I don't want to get sued. So
no, man, this is fun. I love doing these type of things, and I'm a big fan of your channel too. I love how you get people together. It's not easy to do. It takes a little more time than just popping on yourself. But getting lining up schedules and stuff, like especially when you do it like 4 or 5 different people, that's not easy to do. It takes a lot of work, but we appreciate being able to watch those because it's really cool when you do those like group lives and everything. So I really love that.
Yeah, thanks, man. I love doing them because I love meeting everybody. It gets us all closer. So you're going to be at the National, right?
Yeah, I just booked my national. I haven't done. I'm going to do the flight soon and everything, but I got the place done, so I got a place to stay and everything. So yeah, nice. Man, this will be my first national and first. I've mentioned this before. First card show, believe it or not. This is going to be my first card show. I've been to many card shops. I guess I'd been to the mall when I wouldn't even call those shows, but this is like my first big card show that I've ever been to. Coming up.
This is what I'll tell you, because I've been to 3 card shows since I got back in, and my first perception was, this is the dumbest idea because I'm going to be able to find stuff on eBay that's cheaper than the card here, and the guy's going to argue with me, and I'm just going to go buy it on eBay then. But I was absolutely dead wrong, and I'm not saying that you live in Arizona, you might not have the opportunities I have, but I was dead wrong. I found cards I never see on eBay. I found cards cheaper than comps on eBay. And I met some guys there that are like Clemente collectors like I am and things like that. And like, it's been like, I'm addicted now. Like I want to go to every card show I could go to. So that's what I would tell you is I can't speak to the National. I bet you it'll be overwhelming, but I can just speak to the card shows I've been to and how great it was. So
yeah, I have a feeling that once I go to the National, it's going to open Pandora's box for me because I'm already eyeing next year that you see there's a card show at Fenway Park.
Oh, I heard about it.
Yeah, they just had it. They've had it 2 years in a row now. It's at Fenway Park. So like all the tables are in the when you get in Fenway Park, there's like a whole area underneath where they have concessions and everything. All the tables are set up there like all throughout. So you walk through it, you can go up and look at the field. It is just, check out some of the pictures of it online. I mean, it's incredible. So I got to go to that one. I want to go at some point to like the Burbank show, the Dallas show. So I think once I do this, I might be trying to hit some of these other ones too.
Nice. I just went to the Pittsburgh show and some people probably already saw it, but I got the KDKA card, but it's from Clemente's personal collection.
Oh,
and this is awesome. Yeah, and some people watching probably already watched my video about it, but this is an example. I have never I do Clemente searches nonstop. I've never once seen this card available on eBay. The guy that had him was the only guy to ever have them, and he had 2 left. So that's a great example of stuff you could find at the National and things like that. So,
dude, that is so cool that you have a card from his personal collection. Think about it.
Yeah,
I mean, like that blows my mind. I know I've seen other people that like I saw Dr. Beckett has one of those. I'm sure John Mangini has one of those, but like. I always say, whenever I'd hear that, I'd be like, "You have a card from Clemente's personal? What? That's awesome."
Yeah, it's just so meaningful. And I didn't have the KDKA card yet either, so it was like a double whammy. I was like, I was gonna pay $90 for this already, and now I'm getting it with Clemente. Owned it. It's a no-brainer.
So like it was $90 for that
No,
guy?
no,
No,
it
it was more.
I'll tell you off camera, but it was
Yeah,
it was
you don't have to say it,
it wasn't crazy.
Okay.
um,
Whatever it was, you got a deal. That's the way I look at it. Whatever you paid, it's worth it.
yeah, I'm thrilled. I had the opportunity to buy the top stand-up card that I've been salivating to get one, as you know, and I chose this over it to tell you how you can't find, like I just said, you cannot find this on eBay.
You'll always be able to get the stand up. You'll be able to get that. But that is crazy, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, Adam, it's been a pleasure, man. And I hope if somebody out there watched this and they're not subscribed to Adam's channel, subscribe to his channel, guys. And thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me. This was fun, man. Looking forward to doing more stuff with you in the future.
All right. See you guys on the next one.